All right, now I'm live and now I have audio. In theory, everything should be working correctly. Welcome to this video. It's a very impromptu video. All I want to do here is really to test if this 4K stream is going to work, if it's going to look okay, if it's not going to have any problems. The stream itself is in 25, but the camera is, the stream itself is in 60, I think. The camera is in 25, the monitor, whatever. So we will see how this will work. I have here my latest video that I recorded today. It's very short. It's not going to take very long time for me to edit. And I wanted to basically share that with you and do that editing live. So let's take a look at the desktop. Okay, here on my desktop, wow, I still have my camera there. And I'm using PostLab because honestly, it's the best way to manage Final Cut libraries and keep a backup of them. Here I have my nice history. I created proxies on the other computer a few minutes ago. So let me start editing. And here is my library, my main media. If I try to put this on original media, and I record this in 8K HEVC, as you can see up here, 25p. This is a Mac Pro 16 core. Is it? It doesn't look very good. This is a 16 core Mac Pro with 64 gigabytes of RAM, so not super great. So I created proxies. So now this should be the proxy. Frames and horrible, well, and plays much better. All right, so, but I noticed that I also recorded the camera here on my tutorial, so I needed to do a second export. So I'm going to bring that export into my NLE here. Okay, now I have the export and just noticed, oh my God, I exported without sound. Okay, that's not very helpful. Let's go back to ScreenFlow. Those things that happen when you're trying to record yourself, right? So let's just basically do that export again. I see that the video and the audio here are linked. Okay, so I think what I can do here is to re-enable and switch off the visual, although files, doing a workflow with, yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna actually lower this to something like 80% and then do another export. Thankfully, this is gonna be version 3. Thankfully, it's not gonna take very long time to export this. It's only like 5-minute video. Let's see that export going. It's probably super exciting, right, to be watching an export. But yeah, let me know in case there is anyone watching this, if the 4K is okay or not. I'm also recording, so I'm gonna take a look at it myself later. I don't even know how lip sync is as well. These are things that I will need to do a few tests here and there, but it's been a really long time that I haven't done a live stream. So I thought that would be fun to do right now. Here it is now, hopefully with audio. Yes, now with audio. So first thing that I do here, I'm going to get rid of that multicam. I have here this ScreenFlow previously, not gonna use. So this V3 without my camera. This one, that's my camera. This is my microphone. First thing that I do here is to select all of them, then come to the info panel to extend it. And then I'm going to give a reel. Let's see here, YouTube video. The scene is gonna be the video that I'm gonna make. Update on Sony A1 files. Take one, camera Sony A1. And then camera angle, I want A, and I can put a name there, camera, and then camera name Sony A1. And you notice that I that I've done that on all files. Of course, not all files have exactly the same things, but at least now I don't need to put real and scene for all of them, neither take. It's only one take. So I just need to change camera. This is the desktop. And this is desktop, Mac Pro. And then for the mic, this is going to be C, sound. This is the Rodecaster. I like to have a lot of data on my stuff, and you see that it doesn't really take a long time, mainly for short stuff, just a few clips. I'm just gonna call this multicam. Don't need to do anything more complicated. All of these settings here are correct. Now let's see how my multicam looks, and it's perfect. Now I want to select the main sound, which is that one. I'll make sure that I have it here selected on my browser. Now I can get this, create a new project. I'll put my projects event. I'm going to call it update to the update on the Sony A1 workflow. And I want this to be, I'm not gonna do a 4K or an 8K, I'm gonna do a 4K 25, yes. Bring that in. I know that my video probably starts around here.
Hi, on my last Sally, I'm not. Hi.
Okay, let's remove that beginning. One thing that I like to do before I do any cuts is to actually work already on the color and the sound, because really it's going to be easier down the line. The sound I can do here on this multicam, but then if I need to do an adjustment and I have done cuts, I would need to do that adjustment in all of my cuts, and I don't think that's very interesting. So I'm going to do those adjustments inside of the multicam. Need to make sure that I select here the select tool in order for me to not bump things out of sync. See, with the select tool, things don't go out of sync. Normally when you go into multicam, you have your position tool selected, and then things can easily get out of sync. So back to the selection tool, and I'm going to listen to this.
Allowed me to share with you guys. So let's take a look at the computer. So here on the computer,
I will use voice isolation because I have a little bit of reverb in the room still.
And you might have seen that in one of my attempts to import through Final Cut a Sony A1.
You see that it removes a fair amount of that reverb. A couple of other things that I do here is I'm going to add a channel EQ and then a compressor. Now, I'm not an audio guy, so sometimes the way I do things ends up not looking great.
Final Cut and DaVinci Pro, and you might have seen
So
that
what I want to
one
do
of
with this
my
EQ,
attempts to import through Final Cut a Sony A1 media, it was coming with dropped frames and horrible, well, first in the timecode starting in 0 and in drop frames, which is not the case either way. I hadn't seen that before, but the thing that was the main part of the video was the timecode was not correct. And we are looking at workflows to make that import come correctly. Now, a friend of mine from Canada, Andrea Fernandez, sent me an email, very nice email, telling me
I like the
about
way
a
it
little
sounds
bit of
right
his
now.
experimentations with Sony cameras, and he had seen the same problem, including with the Sony A1, and he had found that.
And I know that if I increase it by 4 dB in this here,
the fix, and I'm here to share with you that fix that he
maybe not 4.
Graciously allowed me to share with you guys. So let's take a look at
I'm gonna leave it in 0 dB. Okay, now let's take a look at color. This time I didn't record in log, and I think that was a good idea because there is almost nothing for me to do here. Let me make sure that this is on wheels. All right, the first thing that I would do to color here is take a look at all levels. I seem to be Yeah, let me take a look at this mids. I almost don't breathe when I'm doing this. Oh, there's another thing. I'm actually looking at a monitor that the color is terrible. I shouldn't be judging color on this monitor. So let me turn on my AV out. Look into my OLED monitor that I have here. I have this very nice OLED monitor that really is very nice. Someday I can talk a little bit about it. It's a portable OLED monitor that the color accuracy is pretty incredible. So what you're seeing might be actually the same thing that I am seeing now. Okay, I removed a little bit of that warm cast. I'm generally pleased with the way it looks right now. I don't think I'm going to be changing much more than that. The only thing that I would do here now is to create a soft vignette. Very soft vignette in which I just bring this down, and it's gonna help me with this light here on the side that is having some reflection on the lens. Now, I don't need to be very strong, heavy-handed on this. Okay, let me take a look at that. Yeah. That looks good. Oh, this is my UPS saying, hey, I'm using quite a lot of energy. All right. Okay, color is okay, sound is okay, and now I can actually take a look at this with my multicam. Actually, I don't need multicam for this because it's so simple.
On my last video, I was talking about Sony files, doing a workflow with Final Cut and DaVinci Pro, and you might have seen that in one of my attempts to import through Final Cut a Sony A1 media, it was coming with dropped frames and horrible, well, first in the timecode starting in and in drop frames, which is not the case either way. I hadn't seen that before, but the thing that was the main part of the video was the timecode was not correct, and we were looking at workflows to make that import come correctly. Now, a friend of mine from Canada, Andrea Fernandez, sent me an email, a very nice email, telling me about a little bit of his experimentations with Sony cameras, and he had seen the same problem, including with the Sony A1, and he had found a fix. And I'm here to share with you that fix that he so graciously
okay, so here is a moment that I make a mistake, but as I was recording, I thought, you know what? It's okay to leave that mistake there because I'm not a native speaker. I will make mistakes. So let's take a listen.
That fix that he so graciously allowed me to share with you guys. So
I think it's okay.
Look at the computer.
Okay, here now, immediately cut to the computer. Now you can see that my cut on the multicam came audio and video. I definitely don't want that, so Command Z. Let's select just to cut video. Now I can select number 2. Went to my second angle. Let's see how that goes.
So let's take a look at the computer. So here on the computer.
One thing that is really annoying when I'm recording is I say so very frequently.
So here.
Let's try to remove that so.
Look at the computer. Here on the computer.
Okay, it's a little abrupt, but let's see if we...
Here on the computer.
Yeah, now it's a lot better. Let's try that again.
So let's take a look at the computer. Here on the computer, we have the Sony...
Actually, I don't need to hear in the computer because I already said that, so I don't even need that at all. So let's, let me, here it is me again saying so. Let me try.
Look at the computer. We have the Sony A1 SD
Much better.
That has
now,
SD card.
A lot of people don't like this.
that
this breath. And I do that very frequently. It's pretty annoying. So again, with the so, one thing here is we can remove, because this is a screen recording, there is not a lot of continuity of image. It's totally fine for me to go there and blade this.
SD card that has the M4 root folder, and then it has the clip folder where my videos are.
Another breath there. Oh, I am using a mouse that is not super great for editing. Let me change that real quick. Let me get this other mouse, and I don't think I have it configured here. So small technical moment here. Let's get my system preferences, Bluetooth, get number 3 on the Max 3 in pairing mode. Max 3 connect. Okay, now let's put the gaming mouse back in its dock to charge and continue with the MX3. Sorry about that. Whoa. Now this tracking super fast. All right, let's continue. We found that breath here. Let's remove that as well.
So videos are, just to refresh, I'm going to just drag and drop them here, and we're gonna see no time code. Okay, not good. Let's try now to do the import through Final Cut, Sony A1 SD, and finding those 2 clips here and doing copy. Again, no good.
YouTube is telling me to use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not being sent often enough, which can cause buffering. The current keyframe frequency is 10 seconds. Note the ingestion errors. Okay, so on YouTube might not be looking very good. So let's continue on both platforms here right now.
So I was no good.
Another breath here. And because I use waveforms, you can see the breaths always have the same waveform. Super easy to find them.
Good. So I will delete that. Now the fix.
Now I look at the camera.
Now
I want to do that change as I am moving. Let me do it. Let me check.
The fix
Yeah,
for this,
much better.
as he was explaining to me, is
Change back to the desktop.
in other SD cards, or in some SD cards, Sony will write this folder structure slightly different than it is on the Sony A1 with the CF Express card. So
Another very big breath here.
CF Express card. So what Final Cut?
Let's remove this. So
what?
Let's tighten this gap.
What Final?
And what we can do here actually is to remove a couple of frames here, overlap those 2.
Express card. What Final Cut is probably.
I need a little bit more.
What Final Cut is.
A little bit more.
What Final Cut is probably expecting.
I think
what Final Cut is probably
it's okay.
expecting here is to see that other folder structure. See that
other.
Here is to see that other folder structure.
That's nice, huh? Listen to it again.
Expecting here is to see that other folder structure, and because of that is not looking to the correct method.
Okay, let's remove this breath here. It's pretty annoying, isn't it? It's annoying to have the breath and it's annoying to remove the breath.
That is not looking to the correct meta.
Now, I heard a little clicking, so we can just do this a little bit here.
To the correct metadata.
And let them overlap for
Looking to the correct metadata. To the correct metadata. To look into the correct meta.
still is clicking a little bit, the sound.
Not look into the correct metadata to do the rewrap. So, wrap. So, what's the how? What's how to do the rewrap? What's the fix? Like, look here, we have the Sony A1 card and then M4 root and then clip. The fix is to basically
We can remove a lot of this. Oops, wrong shortcut.
Final Cut basically have a private folder that then contains the M4 root and then the rest of the folder. So basically the only thing that you do here is to create the private folder and then drag and drop the M4 root into it. For root in.
Let's remove this one.
M4 root into it. And to prove that that actually works,
another one. We need to learn how to breathe, right?
And to prove that that actually works, I will import.
I don't need that the either.
Sphere works. I will import on Final Cut, but before I do that, I will still show you here that if I try to drag and drop, it still comes with timecode 0. Now let's try to the import dialog and the original fixed. Let's open that. We see the clips there, and then we import, and voila. Now we have the timecode there. So this is pretty impressive. And then of course,
I'm gonna leave that breath and that's all.
Is doing the rewrap, so he's going to write a new MOV. It is just rewrap, it's not changing much, but is writing that timecode in the right place. So even if I open here on QuickTime, there it is. Sorry about the shot of me standing in front of the camera. We have the timecode. So thank you. Code. So
okay, now let's cut. I'd like to cut in the movement, but let's try to cut without the movement directly here. And here's a tip. If you have that multicam, you can do Command Shift left arrow to go back angles or right arrow without making a cut.
Have the time code. Thank you so much, Andre, for sending me that email and pointing me to this. I think is
jump cuts is a normal thing on YouTube, right?
Me to this. I think here, of course, if you are okay with Final Cut organizing your media for you, putting those folders for you, yeah, I think this is totally fine importing through Final Cut. I would still go through the edit ready route because that one I can rename the files the way I want without needing to worry about any of the folder structure. I can also, yeah, I can rename and I can then organize in whatever folder. A little bit easier than what Final Cut is doing, but this is totally valid. I mean, if you're doing this and you need to do fast and it's okay for you to have that folder structure from Final Cut, oh, that's amazing. So again, thanks, Andre Fernandez from Canada. I will leave his website here for you to check out. I will leave his website.
Andre's website.
Here to check out his work. And thank you again and see you in the next one.
All right, I'm not doing an intro, I'm not doing an outro. So now we're gonna just use a couple of things here to help us illustrate what we are saying, right? And I have these mtuber and mtuber2 motion templates here from Motion VFX that will help me do just that. We have the, so I will start here with a zoom, a full zoom. Oh, title is not here. Why is not here the title? Reviewing Finder. It is here. The problem is that I am using this in a non-standard way. So let's fix that. How do we fix that? We install minstaller from Motion VFX. I don't think I have it installed here at the moment. No, I don't. So let's do minstaller, get for Mac. It's gonna be very quick. Open it. Oh, where is it? Minstaller. Okay, I'm gonna need to go through Finder. Oh my god, I did it so fast that I don't think I brought it there. Okay, there we go. It's a very big application, actually. Half a gigabyte. All right. What else? Login. You don't need to see me logging in, so it's on my second screen. One password. And I am not a robot. Oh, I do hate this CAPTCHA stuff. Well, at least this time I went through on the first attempt. Okay, authenticated. Accept. So let's get our plugins. Let's find mtuber. Mtuber. And let's tell it to repair. Now let's find mtuber2. Let's tell it to, oh my god, the application doesn't work. Yeah, I know it's installed. Let me click. Oh my god. This is pretty annoying. So is it doing anything? Okay, little bug on the application, right? Yeah, I can't quit it, can't click anywhere. Minstaller. Let's force quit. Let's try that again. Open mtuber, get this one, reinstall, repair. It's privileged access, sure. That didn't pop up the other time. And this one, reinstall, repair. I don't love this thing running in the background. I'll switch off this later. No, I don't want notifications. And as soon as this is done, I can close minstaller and open Final Cut. Okay, I can open Final Cut now. It's getting pretty warm in this room here. Okay, now let's see if this, oh, now the zoom works. So I want to zoom in good amount like that.
Let's take a look at the computer. We have the Sony A1 SD card that has the M4 root folder, and then it has the clip folder where my video
Let's put this in original, better quality.
folder, and then it has the clip folder where my videos are. Just to refresh, I'm going to just drag and drop them here.
Now I want that zoom to end because we're going to go away
just
from
to refresh,
Finder.
I'm going to just drag and drop them here, and we're gonna see no time code.
And then I'm going to use a different zoom, which is just this one. I'm going to put it over here. Increase that zoom level. Okay, so this is the one that's actually broken. Let me, it's the zoom fragment actually, sorry. Zoom fragment. Now I have the correct one. And zoom amount. Looks good. Okay, let's take a look at that.
And we're gonna see. And we're gonna see no time code. Okay, not good.
Let's remove that that's pretty annoying. The breath and the
Okay, not good. Let's try now to not good. Let's try now to do the import through Final Cut. Sony
let me get here a copy.
Cut. Import through Final Cut. Sony A1 SD and finding those two clips here and doing copy again.
This should finish right before importing.
Those two clips here and doing copy again. No good.
Now we copy again that zoom fragment
And doing copy again.
Let's remove this breath that I didn't notice before.
Doing copy again, no good. So I will delete that.
Good.
Now the fix for now.
Let's remove this huge silence here.
I will delete that. Now the fix for this.
Now I have to go back to proxy mode because
Now the fix for this,
Yeah.
as he was explaining to me, is in order SD.
it's only clicking right now because that media is pretty heavy on this computer.
Is in order.
Let's get the zoom going again.
In order SD cards, or in some SD cards, Sony will write this folder structure is slightly different than it is on the Sony A1 with the CF Express card. What Final Cut is probably expecting here is to see that other folder structure, and because of that is not looking into the correct metadata to do the rewrap. What's the fix? Like, look here, we have the Sony A1 card and then M4 root and then clip. The fix is to basically have a private folder that then contains the M4 root, and then
Actually, now I could experiment with thing here and do a second zoom level. Just duplicated that zoom. And once I click on that, I will make a second zoom level.
have a private folder that then contains the M4 root and then the rest of the folder. So basically the only thing that you do here is to create the private folder and then drag and drop the M4 root into it. And to prove that that actually works, I will import on Final Cut. But before I do that, I will still show you here that if I try to drag and drop,
now go away from the zoom.
import on Final Cut, but that drag and drop still comes with timecode 0. Now let's try to the import dialog.
Okay, let me bring that in.
Import dialog and the original fixed. Let's open that. We see the clips there, and then we import and voila, now we have the time code there. So this, now we have the time code there. So this is pretty impressive. And then of course, in this case here, Final Cut is doing the rewrap. So it's going to write a new MOV. It is just rewrap, it's not.
Okay, look at my CPU, how crazy it goes when I try to do that duplication.
This is pretty impressive. And then of course, in this case,
oh my god, that zoom is a little too early.
of course, in this case here, Final Cut.
Still a little too early.
Final Cut is doing the rewrap.
A little too early still.
Is doing the rewrap, so he's going to write a new MOV.
Okay, almost there.
Just rewrap. It's not changing much, but is writing that time code in the right place. So even if I open here, on QuickTime, there it is. Sorry about the shot of me standing. There it is. Sorry about the shot of me standing in front of the camera. We have the time code. Standing in front of the camera. We have the time code. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Camera. We have the time code. Thank you so much.
It's a little weird.
Time code.
Okay, it's because, let's move that zoom a little earlier. Make sure that it ends when I still have the video there.
Thank you so much, Andre, for... We have the time code. Thank you so much, Andre, for sending me that.
It's a little abrupt, but I guess it's okay.
I think here, of course, if you are okay with...
Now, I know this part already. We already went through it. And I just need a little graphic to put his website. Andre's website. Probably not on this one. Let's try this one. How does this one look like? Or lower third. Or this one. Okay, this is the main one. I want this one. Andre Fernandez. Don't remember if it was with S or Z. Let's double check. And in my email. Oh, sorry about that. Email wasn't supposed to appear here. Andre Fernandez with S, yes. And here is his website. So his website, Andre Fernandez. content scale. Let's do that. And let me see if we can add some drop shadow here. Shadow. Blur. Yeah, it's good now. Let's take a look.
Canada. I will leave his website here for you to check out his work. And
now I want to have this color be the same color that's in the back here.
I will leave his website.
There's still a red one. Okay.
I will leave his website here for you to check out his work. And thank you again, and see you in the next one.
Let's see if it's okay to add a fade to black in the end of the video.
And then see you in the next one.
Not that long.
And see you in the next one.
Not a big fan.
Again, and see you in the next one.
Much better. Okay, so I think I have my video.
Hi,
Sounds
on my last
good.
Video I was talking about
Looks good.
Sony files.
We can do a. Let's see if I have it here. Doesn't look like I have. So let's close Final Cut. Let's go into Safari. Let's look for Alex 4D Grow Shrink. And download the installer. Install. Okay, now we have Grow Shrink. Let's open Final Cut again. Sometimes you don't need to close Final Cut the way I did, but sometimes it's a little easier to get it going. So Alex 4D, Grow Shrink. Let's call 5%, yeah?
Hi, on my last video I was talking about Sony files, doing a workflow with Final Cut and DaVinci Pro. And
Yeah,
you
it's
might
very
have
slow
seen
and
that
nice.
in one of my attempts to import through Final Cut.
If we see here, this is what Grow Shrink is doing. And let me do the same here, but I will make it to 10%. Okay. Okay, I think that's fine. I mean, honestly, let me switch to the camera. Honestly, for YouTube videos, I try to not spend too much time because I do have a full-time job, other things that I need to do. But I still want to put out this content, right? So I try to make it look as nice as possible, sound as nice as possible, but also without creating 6 hours of work for myself. And you saw I've been live here for 49 minutes and I wasn't even that efficient, but within an hour I can turn around the edit of this less than 5-minute video. And I'm gonna go back to the desktop. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna export this. I'm not 100% sure yet. There are a few ways of doing it. This is the update on the Sony blah blah workflow update on. So it's not this one and it's not this one. I'm going to export as an HEVC, standard definition, 2160p. And of course, let's make sure that is in original. Export that. That's a compressor preset that I have. Before I do that, let me export a ProRes. Today I'm going to try uploading a ProRes to see if if YouTube's transcoder will be faster with ProRes than with the HEVC. Then let's export the ProRes 422. Let's say that it is ProRes 422. And I'm gonna put it in my projects folder, YouTube, this video, exports, make a folder for today, and export that. Now let's kick out the HEVC export as well. Let's put it here, HEVC. And now for the ProRes export, it's going to use pure CPU since I don't have an afterburner. And even if I had an afterburner, the afterburner really only accelerates decoding. It doesn't accelerate encoding on the Mac Pro, which is a huge disadvantage compared to M1 Max MacBook Pro, which has an encoder for ProRes. So it could be actually faster to go back to my M1 Max MacBook Pro and do that there. Let's. But I think that this is pretty done. It's pretty done. I don't think I need to keep on streaming here just for it to export. I'm gonna upload the ProRes. I have a very nice, sweet connection at the moment. I can upload at 60 megabytes a second, can download at 120 megabytes a second. So it's going to be very fast. Let's say between now and when the video gets public, I'm going to put it public once at least the HD version is available. All right. So thanks for hanging out. And I guess I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.